Google offers nonprofits, churches included, up to $10,000 in free monthly ad grants.
That means your church can spend up to $10,000 per month on ads.
But there's a catch. Surely there must be a catch, right?
Today, we're joined by Brady Sticker from Church Candy to get answers to some of these questions. He leads a team that manages these campaigns for churches directly.
Let's dive in. Well, hey there, and welcome to the Pro Church Tool Show. We're here to help you and your church navigate the biggest communication shift in 500 years. I'm Brady Sticker, your host. I'm joined as always by my co-host. We call him Uncle Al. It's Alexander Mills.
Hello.
And we're also joined by the man that we affectionately refer to as the other Brady. It's Brady Sticker from Church Candy. Brady, welcome back to the show.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back.
We brought you on because we wanted to do a deep dive into a topic that, surprisingly, in the many years of creating content, we've never covered, and that is Google ad grants for churches. Google famously offers these advertising grants to nonprofits where they'll say, hey, you want to advertise Google? Go for it. We'll give you $10,000 of free ads per month, so long as you're a nonprofit. So the first question is this. What is the scam and catch behind this?
Yeah, for sure. One, you have to be a 501c3. In my understanding is in the United States, like that, you have to be qualified like as an actual nonprofit. Maybe your church, like I know different states have different rules. I was talking with a pastor in Georgia, and he had said, well, in Georgia, you don't have to be a nonprofit or a 501c3. Like there were some weird things there that was different than here in Texas. But their parent organization's nomination was a 501c3. So we were able to still basically get them approved that way. So you have to be a 501c3. The scam is, the catch is you're giving Google a evil monopolistic organization lower taxes is the scam.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that.
They write it off.
Well, yeah, they're not going
Clever.
to give you free money without that.
See, I'm just so naive and like trusting. I was like, that never even crossed my mind. Now I have looked up and it says that Google Ad Grants is available in 65 plus countries. So it's not limited to the USA, but surely there are different checks and balances for designating you as an official nonprofit, depending on the legalities of your own country, because obviously Google needs that tax donation write-off.
Yes.
So when churches come to you, Brady, and they're like, we're ready to sign up for this, what are kind of the first steps that you walk them through?
Yeah, so if they don't already have the grant, we'll walk them through that. There's just some legal things, and Google has changed it over the years as far as what you need to actually go through and qualify and apply and get approved for the grant, just to make sure, Pro Church Tools and Church Candy aren't here saying, oh yeah, we're a nonprofit, we'll take money, please, right? So they have this new program, I think it's called Percent, that they verify nonprofits with. And so we walk them through that process. The thing is, it's not hard. Like anyone can just go to Google and search Google Ads Grant for nonprofits and then just follow the instructions that they give to get it. It's not hard. It's just time consuming. And I know personally, whenever I'm needing to do things around the house, I had to switch out a thermostat upstairs. We got one of those smart thermostats. I didn't read the instructions that came with it. I looked up a tutorial and I had someone hold my hand and walk me through that process. And so we do the same thing for churches. We walk you through that process. It's a done with you process to get you on board and get it. And then from there, we'll actually help you build out your ad campaigns and like how do we actually utilize the full $10,000 a month to actually get new visitors showing up into a church's Sunday service.
It's probably worth mentioning right now, like over the years, we have had many churches come to us with reservations about taking advantage of the Google Ads grants because there is a checkbox, perhaps a series of checkboxes, that you need to select as a church to basically say, yes, I'm a nonprofit, yes, I'm using this, and yes, I'm not doing awful, terrible things. And churches have come to us and been like, hey, like if we believe that same-sex marriage is a sin and we don't support that, like can we ethically and faithfully select this? And this is not legal advice, let's be clear, but my response to those churches has always been, look, as a nonprofit, you are surely under some laws and regulations about like who you can employ and who you cannot employ and how you cannot like just say, oh, you know what, you're this color skin, we are not going to hire you for that reason. You're probably already operating under these. And this Google is not, it's not asking you to do anything different, almost assuredly.
Yeah, it's pretty like standard anti-discrimination stuff but it is, in legal speak, it's there in the terms. And some folks, unlike the three of us on this show, some folks do, comb through those terms and conditions with a fine tooth comb. And so they'll come to us with those reservations. But like you said, like you're likely signing off on very similar terms for many other kind of services and products you use and even your own operations. So now that being said, like, it's a personal conscience choice. So like if there's something in there that clearly violates like your mission and vision as a church, well then that's your conscience and you can follow that and not accept the grant money. Like this is not a blanket statement, but we're pretty comfortable with checking off the agree to terms and going forward with using the Google Ads grant. My church actually recently got approved for the Ads grant. And I was going to say, Brady, not to undermine your business because you help people get on board with Google Ads, but like I was able to do it. Now I'm pretty savvy on the internet, but like I was able to do it. I was able to do it like rather quickly. It was not very, very painful at all. The integration that they have with the Percent platform, which is the same, because Canva's doing this now. Canva is giving Canva Premium to nonprofits using this same like Percent validator for nonprofit status.
So some kind of third-party integration.
Yeah, totally.
And so they're verifying it, so Google doesn't have to.
Exactly. And so they make it pretty easy. Now here's the sell for you, Brady, and your company at Church Candy. Once you get into Google Ads grants,
oh boy,
or the Google Ads Manager, even for me, again, who's pretty savvy, and I've done paid ads on Facebook and stuff before, like this feels like a whole nother world. It was pretty disorienting to me. And I'm pretty sure I have an ad running. I'm going to have to DM Brady after and we may become a client of Church Candy for this purpose because like we have the ads grant, but we are not using it to its potential. We need some help. So Brady, once folks get approved, their nonprofit has been validated, the veil to the Google Ads Manager has been removed, and they see this rather convoluted ads manager platform. Where do they go? What should they do first?
Yeah, so that's actually the most common reason why people reach out to Church Candy for the Google Ads grant is because we got the ads grant, and you're right, Alex, like that's the easy part. Getting the grant isn't hard. The hard part is setting up the campaigns and actually utilizing all of the money that Google wants to give you. And because the thing is, there's even like certain stipulations. If you've, for example, ran paid Google ads before on an actual Google Ads account that's not a grant account, there's some different things there that you can't do on the Google Ads grant account. So for starters, they want to make sure that you're utilizing the ad grant effectively. For example, you have to have at least a 5% CTR, so 5% click-through rate on your ads, meaning out of every 100 people that see your ad, at least 5 of those 100 need to click on it to show that what you guys are promoting and the keywords you guys are targeting are actually relevant to what people are searching and what your church has to offer, if that makes sense. And so you can't just throw something together, let it throw at the wall and kind of hope for the best, right? You can't just throw spaghetti at the wall and pray that it works. You have to be really intentional with this. On top of that, you have to maintain a $2 cost per click. So meaning whenever you're bidding with Google Ads, you're basically bidding with other people for certain keywords. And a keyword would be like church near me or churches in the Woodlands, Texas, like is where I live. So those are key words that you can target to make sure you show up on Google, right? So you want to, one, make sure you're having a 5% click-through rate. And then two, your cost per click, you want to make sure that that is staying below $2 because it caps it at that. So basically, I hope churches don't do this, but theoretically a mega church in town could start running Google ads and just have a higher cost per click. Well, now Google's basically saying, all right, this church down the street that's spending real money, not the Google Ads grant, they're going to get favor and they're going to show up above churches that are using the ads grant because they're willing to spend more money, if that makes sense. So those are some different things there that churches need to keep in mind, because there's a lot of nuances in it. And really, this is one of the things that I think if you set up properly and continue to maintain it, I mean, it's $10,000 of free advertising for your church. Like it can make a huge impact.
Okay, so it feels like now we're kind of getting into the brass tacks, and the other foot has hit, proverbially speaking. To summarize, yes, you can spend up to 10,000, but it sounds like it's quite easy to not spend anywhere close to that. You have to maintain a 5% plus click-through rate on your ads, and you have to be achieving those clicks that you said under $2 per click?
Yeah, $2 is the cap. Our biggest thing is just making sure the ads that you're showing to people are relevant to those keywords, right? So if someone searches for Bible or faith or some of these things that are just generic, and those are keywords you're targeting, well, if I'm looking to buy a Bible and I see an ad for a church, I'm not going to click on it, right? I'm just going to keep scrolling until I find what I'm looking for. So those are the things that you need to be intentional with choosing keywords, because that's going to help keep your click-through rate high and then your cost per click low.
I want to ask about keywords. I want to ask about like writing these ads and how they're being positioned. But like before we get into that, I just want to be certain, like, is it achievable to spend thousands of dollars as an average church within the confines of sub $2 clicks and plus 5% CTR? Is that even like realistic?
Yeah. So that's achievable. The hard part whenever it comes to that just broad blanket statement is a church in rural Kentucky that has 5,000 people in their county versus a church in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that has like millions of people in it. Obviously, the search volume there is going to be drastically different. So yes, higher population cities, it's a lot easier to reach that $1,000 threshold. Whenever we're working with churches in more rural areas, we have to oftentimes expand the radius more than what we typically would for churches in smaller areas. But yeah, all in all, like there's no reason why your church can't utilize the budget. But just know if you are in a small town, if you are in a more rural area, it's not going to be as effective for you just because there's not as many people that live in your area. It's just a smaller pond.
Well, and effective there, it might not be that they're less effective. You might equally saturate your area with a less ad spend. You know, there was a certain amount of money that Pro Church Tools, when we were spending heavily into Facebook ads, could spend. And that money was dramatically less than a company of similar size, but like that was doing like fitness, right? Because like fitness had a much broader audience, whereas church comms had a understandably much smaller audience. And so we could saturate our audience with the same type of like penetration into the market with a considerable less ad spend. It didn't mean that we were like leaving more on the table. It just meant, hey, there's fewer people for you to reach. So naturally the spend is going to be lesser. Before we get into keywords, let's start with, okay, I am writing an ad. Now on Facebook ads, I'm used to basically like, hey, here's this thing that's going on. And you're basically trying to intersect someone's scroll with something that they're going to find interesting enough that they'll engage with. Google is completely different, right? Because you're trying to respond to a query that someone's giving you, which is a very different meeting point than Facebook ads, where like they're not looking for you. You're trying to like intercept the thing they're already doing and take away that behavior and introduce them to something new. Whereas with Google, people are looking for something and you're trying to answer that query.
Yeah. So the easiest way to do that is start with keywords and then write your ads after that. So what we'll do with churches is, I mean, a lot of times we'll just go to ChatGPT and say, write keywords relevant to, church in this city. And then we'll list some information about the church, the city they're in, the county they're in, things like that. and then ask Google to come up with broad match keywords for those search terms. And then we'll use that, copy and paste it. Anytime you use ChatGPT, read over it, make sure it actually makes sense and is relevant for what you guys are doing. And then from there, as far as the ads go, just put yourself in the person's shoes that's going to be searching for your church, right? A couple of the biggest things would be the church name and the city name. Church and then your city, right? Those are typically the most important things that we put in the ads. And then depending on what specific keywords we're targeting, we're also going to include that in there. For example, if we're using non-denominational as some of the keywords, we're going to include that in the headline of the ad, in the main text there.
Right. And this makes perfect sense because people are searching for something specific for them to come across your ad. And so what you need to do to craft a successful promotion here is to basically affirm what they've been searching for and say, yes, the answer you're looking for is here. You searched for this, you found it, which is very different from a Facebook type of ad where you're basically trying to like craft something that would be compelling, not based on someone's search, but you're kind of guessing based on the person you're trying to reach what they might find interesting. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. And then one of the things that I didn't mention is you want to make sure every ad, once they go to the landing page, that there's some sort of next step, right? And from there, it's important to also have your Google Analytics set up to track any sort of conversions. For example, we don't like sending traffic just to a church's homepage for a Church Near Me campaign. We'll send traffic to a Plan Your Visit campaign. Why? Because Google wants us to track conversions, and that's one reason. And then two, it's great for us because it actually gives people an opportunity to fill out that form and plan a visit to our Sunday service, because now we can follow up with those people, give them phone calls, text, emails, and touch base with them before they come and visit. And so those are important things to keep in mind as well.
Well, that's something I've learned a lot from you, actually, Brady. You guys have an ebook. Well, I think you have a physical copy as well of your plan a visit sequence, but I have the ebook copy, and that was really helpful for me in setting up my Google Ads campaign, and even just learning the concept of not just directing folks who are searching for churches near me to your homepage, but sending them to a landing page, like you said, a plan to visit page that has intention to like capture that information and lead folks into an actual next step. We know that when folks fill out a form with intention to plan a visit to church, and then when we follow up with them, a pastor follows up with them before they ever come to church, the probability of them actually taking that next step, actually showing up to church, like it skyrockets when they go through that sequence, as opposed to just landing on the homepage and saying, oh yeah, this looks like a nice church, and I see that they meet at 10:30, and yeah, that's kind of near me, but maybe I'll just sleep in instead. Do you know, Brady, like, is that when it comes to folks searching church related stuff on Google, like, is that the most common question, the most common search query is just like churches near me? Is that what folks are really looking for?
Maybe not churches near me. You can use, there's different tools online to find the actual keywords that people are using. Church near me is pretty popular. A lot of the times it would just be city name churches and different variations of that. Those are typically some of the most popular keywords that we see. But guys, honestly, the secret sauce to getting your Google Ads account to spend more and more money, it's two things. It's number one, volume, and number two, optimization. So volume, think of it like working out, right? If I were to go to the gym, do some bicep curls once, I can't just be like, man, where are my results? Where are my arms? How come it hasn't happened there? No, I haven't done it enough. But if I was to go to the gym every single day for a year and did bicep curls, I would see results from that. So it's just not, it's just lack of volume there. So with this, you have to create tons and tons of different ad groups and different variations with this, more than what you probably might think. Or if you were to go to a Facebook ad, if you could set up one ad with one image and one ad text and give it a huge budget, it's going to spend that budget. With this, you have to create a bunch of variations. And so that's number one, volume. And then number two, optimization, is making sure that the ads that you are running are actually performing well. And so what we'll do is every couple of weeks go in, and the ad groups that are underperforming, turn those off. The keywords that are underperforming, turn those off, and double down on the ad groups and the keywords that are performing well, that people are searching for, and then create more variations similar to that. And that is really the secret to like actually getting Google to, or actually getting your ads account with a Google Ads grant account to actually spend more money, is just creating tons of volume. And then over time, as you maintain it and optimize it, you're going to see more of that ad account actually getting spent.
Brady, do you listen to a lot of football pundit Nick Wright?
Oh, Nick Wright? Yeah. I'm familiar.
When I close my eyes, the cadence that you use, I'm just waiting for him to tell me why Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time and the Chiefs are going to three-peat the Super Bowl. I think, I don't know what it is. There's just something about the cadence that makes me go, you know what? This guy's always making fun of the Niners and I don't like it.
Okay, listen. He has Mahomes Mountain. I've got Marketing Mountain.
Yes.
So at the top of the Marketing Mountain.
Wow.
Oh, wait, and then you have your.
I got the ministry mountain.
Yes. Yes.
We're all the same out here.
Full circle.
Okay. Okay. Question that I had about Google Ads in conjunction with Facebook ads. Is there synergy? And when you're presumably you're managing for churches both their Facebook ads and their Google ads, is there something to be gained by using the two of them together, or is it like, hey, if your church can't spend on Facebook ads, I'm going to get 10,000 free if you can hit those stipulations in Google?
Yeah, we recommend running Google ads alongside of Facebook ads. If you go into your landing pages and set up the meta tracking pixel, you're able to show ads to people that find you on Google. Well, now they go to Instagram and boom, they see an ad from your church. They go to Facebook, boom, they see an invite video from your pastor in an ad. It's kind of like if you were to go to Amazon and you're looking for one of these fancy podcast microphones. Well, what happens when you go to Instagram, when you go to Facebook? You see ads for this microphone. And so that's one of the things that we've really seen a lot of fruit from because how many people, they're convicted by the Holy Spirit. They're like, you know what? I need to get back into church. I'm going to go check out a church. They go to Google. They look for a church. They go to the website. They're like, oh, okay, cool. So they click on your Google ad. They might not plan a visit. We're recording on a Wednesday. Well, Thursday comes around. Friday comes around, Saturday comes around, Sunday comes around. They may or may not show up to your church that Sunday. But if they click on your website and go to your website from a Google ad on a Wednesday, and then on Thursday, they see an ad from your church inviting them to church. On Friday, they see you're using Social Sermon and you ran an ad using one of the beautiful Instagram reels that Brady's team made for you, running that an ad targeting people that go to your website. They're more likely to come, right? Because you're going to be top of mind for those people.
It's funny. I was on a call with a church yesterday and they asked me a question that a lot of churches ask. Say, okay, like we want to start using social sermons. We want to start working with you. Like, how will you be able to demonstrate like which video leads people to come visit us in person? And I said, as I always say to these questions, you booked a call with me, church. Which of my YouTube videos or social posts inspired you to book the call? And as of yet, I have not had a single church say it was this one. They kind of pause and I hesitate. You probably don't remember which one, right? Like, no, not really. It's like, right. You saw a YouTube video of mine. You saw a social post, you subscribed to the email list. Eventually, you're like, hey, let's book a call. What Brady's describing here is the rule of 7 in marketing, which is like it typically takes, this is kind of the broad rule for marketing, 7 touch points with an organization or a brand, in our case, a church, for a person to make a decision, for them to take a next step. So they see a Google ad, they see a Facebook ad, they get retargeted, they hear about someone in the community that also attends the church, they drive by it, there's a VBS happening, and then a year or two later, they're finally ready to take that next step. And I think this is the part that churches don't really realize. When you kind of flip the script on them and say, hey, what inspired you to do this? And they realize, it was actually just a number of things over time. That starts to kind of like paint the picture of what's required from us as churches to create similar results. I don't always like it when it's happening to me.
Wait, you're marketing me?
So I was very resistant. Here's an example. I was very resistant to turning on YouTube's search algorithm. Like last year, YouTube changed it where they're like, if you don't have watch history on, we are not going to give you anything on your homepage. Your YouTube homepage is going to be a blank page. And for 10 months, I refused to turn on my search history until eventually I was like, you know what? TikTok is pretty good at serving me what I like. Instagram's all right at it. I think YouTube's probably going to be better than any other platform. So I finally turned it on. And yesterday, I was watching a video on the history of the Bloodline, which is a WWE storyline, because I've only tapped back into WWE, pun intended, in the last 8 months or so. And this storyline's been going on for 5 years. And so I missed a bunch. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get the payoff of some of these storylines if I don't educate myself. So I watched through a 60-minute video on 2XP, because who has the time, on the Bloodline. And then I went on Twitter, and suddenly everything there was about specifically the Bloodline.
Interesting.
And I was like, that's not retargeting. That's like, who's listening and or
Yes.
is YouTube talking with Elon? No way YouTube and Elon are sharing data. Didn't like it at all, personally. And I'm confident that one day we're going to find out how this was all happening. There was a great Reply All episode, a now defunct podcast that was quite popular and successful in its heyday, that debunked the idea that devices were listening to you and said, no, actually, it's just that you share interests and you share certain things in terms and conditions, and then your friends share interests and your family share interests, and there's just so much data that they can actually guess. It's not that they're listening. Every day I become less and less convinced that was true. It sold me. I was like, I'm confident, but I don't know.
But Brady, we're trying to win people for Jesus.
Oh,
Yes.
cookies for Jesus. Cookies for Christ.
Yes, you got it.
The Christ cookies. Those were okay.
Brady Sticker. You mentioned, and I'm glad you said it, that one of the keys to having a very successful Google Ads campaign and spending the money that they give you on a month-to-month basis is actually going in, and you mentioned like every couple weeks, and culling the ads that are not doing well, doubling down on the ones that are performing. So that infers that this is like not set it and forget it. There's some evergreen maintenance that has to be done. And so I guess my question is like, as the world spins and the seasons change, we have these seasonal events that frankly, like recur at church. We call them cornerstone events, stuff like Christmas and Easter, and we're coming up on Trunk or Treat or Fall Festival or whatever. We have these things we do as the seasons change. Talk to me about how a Google ad strategy would differ for, the evergreen kind of plan a visit landing page campaign that you're running for a church, in mid-June, comparatively to a campaign that you would run for a Trunk or Treat, Fall Festival, or a Christmas service. What is the strategy difference between those two types of Google Ads campaigns?
Yeah, so as far as strategy goes, it's really the same. Whenever it comes to 30,000 foot view, we want people to see an ad, go to a landing page, and then there's always an opt-in to RSVP, and we'll come up with something because some churches will be like, why do they need to RSVP? They just need to show up. And the reason why is because I want this church and their team to text and follow up with these people and get connected with them. And then two, Google likes having conversions and giving people a next step on that landing page. And so all in all, it's really the same. The only difference is instead of it being evergreen, we're just focusing on keywords. For example, Trunk or Treat. We'll do things like Fall Festival, Trunk or Treat, and things that people would search for whatever comes to whatever that specific event is. And then as time gets a little closer, we'll see which keywords are performing the best and then double down on those. And so that's actually one of the 3 top campaigns that we'll run. Number 1 is a Church Near Me campaign. It's an evergreen plan your visit campaign, similar to what we'll do with our Facebook and Instagram ads. Number 2 are events. A lot of churches, especially if they're in the like church planting arc world, they probably launched their church and had their grand opening service in either September or maybe January. Well, we just had a large number of churches celebrate some kind of cornerstone birthday event. And so we did a huge campaign for them. Now, we're not necessarily targeting on Google any kind of church birthday events, church birthday parties. No one's looking for that, right? But on Facebook, we focus on. So maybe that was a bad example, but Halloween's around the corner, trunk or treat, fall festivals. A lot of churches do that. Christmas, we'll do that for different events. And then the third one is, this is where our team has to get a little bit more creative, is a featured sermon. So let's say a pastor preaches a topic on faith and how to have faith in hard times. Well, what we'll do is we will take that transcription and give it to AI and tell ChatGPT to rewrite this sermon as an article. And then from there, we will take that, put it on a landing page with the YouTube video from that message. And that's all about having faith in hard times and, the 3 biggest things we need to remember for that. Well, now we have a landing page with a call to action at the bottom that says, hey, we'd love for you to visit our church, check out more sermons, or you can plan a visit here. So that will run traffic with keywords around faith and why do bad things happen to good people and having faith in hard times. And that's one of the ways that we're able to actually utilize a lot of that ad spend, just kind of thinking outside of the box. Now, things to keep in mind, you can't mention things like mental health or addiction because it's too close to like healthcare, and Google wants to like stay away from like medical things whenever it comes to the ads grant. Same thing for like pornography. Like they don't like you to talk about that, even in a like, hey, pornography is bad kind of a way.
Brady, we're always grateful for you sharing all of your wisdom with us. You're a wealth of knowledge in these areas that we don't typically dabble in. I know that Alex has taken advantage of the Plan Your Visit.
I'm going to be taking more advantage after this show. I'm going to be sending you a DM and saying, okay, I'm ready to actually pay you some real money and get your help with these Google ads.
My understanding also is that you've published a new book recently.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, go get a copy.
I've got this book right here. It is called Launch Big. It's all about church planting. So if your church is under 5 years old, or you're maybe a youth pastor or associate pastor, you want to plant your own church. This is our full playbook for how to use digital marketing for church planters. Covers everything from building your launch team, launching big, getting a lot of people to your grand opening service, and then after you do launch, how do you continue to get new guests visiting your church every single Sunday? And if you order the book on Amazon, just look up Launch Big, Brady Sticker. If you order the book and go to launchbigbook.com, you can upload a screenshot of your confirmation. We bought 500 of these Building the Kingdom hats, and I think it was way too much because the goal was to get the book to bestseller status for like the church growth categories on Amazon. We did that after like the first 50 orders. So I have like 200 something hats left. So you can go order a book. I'll send you a hat for free. The Kindle version is 99 cents on Amazon. So you basically get a cool hat like this if there's any available for 99 cents.
It's a good looking hat.
Nice, yeah, man. Yeah. And I was just going to say too, right now our Google Ads grant program, sorry, Mr. Alex, I'll put you on the wait list. We're currently not taking
he gave you the wait list.
Sneak me in.
He gave you the wait list. That's crazy.
We follow each other on Instagram.
We'll see.
That's wild.
We'll see what we can do. But
after we made this man a makeover, we gave him a makeover, and then that's crazy.
You guys, I'll put you at the top of the wait list. You guys did do
the top of the wait list.
churchcandy.com/Google. You can join the wait list. And then also get your website made over by our friends at Nucleus.
I'm going to put you. Have we delivered that site yet?
We've got a wait list.
There was a hang up at the factory. Yeah, all right. Great to catch up, Brady. Thanks so much. Best of luck to your Texans this year. And thanks everyone for listening. We're screwed. It's over for us. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you all next Wednesday. Brady, while I'm thinking about an intro, do people have nicknames for you?
I make the joke, say Brady or Bradford for long.
Yeah. Do you get Braid a
for
lot?
long. Yeah, just like by my family, just because they're too lazy to do the second syllable, I guess.
Everyone calls me Braid. I like it. I always wanted affectionate names. And my middle name, Cole. You can't shorten a one-syllable name.
Right.
What do you, I mean, all you get is Uncle Al.
Yeah, I don't get anything.
That's
I
rough.
get reprimanded by my mother if anyone tries anything different. Like, his name's Alexander.
Alexander.
That's the name I
That's
gave him.
4
So.
syllables. Relax.